Thank you very much. Please, let's take our seats. Your Excellencies, High Commissioners present, friends from different parts of the world, including my in-laws from Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to join you this morning for this significant event that underscores the strategic importance of mining sector in shaping the economic future of our country and continent. I am informed that this expo has brought together over 500 delegates. I think it has been improved by nation media to 700 from across Africa and the global mining ecosystem, including multinational corporations, investors, financial institutions, development partners, technologists, and community stakeholders. To all delegates and participants, I extend a very warm welcome to Nairobi with a clear and unambiguous message. The time has come to take next decisive steps forward, unlocking the full economic potential of the mining sector. For far too long, the abundant mineral wealth we possess has generated prosperity for others, while its true owners, our citizens, have derived only limited benefit. After more than 60 years of independence, few African countries can fully account for and fully benefit from their mineral endowments. We must correct this glaring distortion. Gatherings such as this one must serve as a turning point, bringing us closer to a future in which Africa's resources work first and foremost for the people of our continent. I am therefore delighted to note that we are joined by delegates from Nigeria, Tanzania, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, and South Sudan. Your presence here affirms a conviction I hold deeply, that Africa's mineral wealth is a shared strategic asset. The decision we take now and in the years ahead will determine whether this abundance is harnessed to build African industries, create jobs in Africa, and drive African prosperity, or whether it continues to benefit others beyond our shores. Ladies and gentlemen, we meet at a moment of extraordinary opportunity. The global shift towards clean energy is fundamentally redefining the strategic value of minerals and positions Africa as the center of that transformation. According to the International Energy Agency, demand for critical minerals such as lithium, cobalt, nickel, and graphite is projected to triple by 2030 and quadruple by 2040 as the world accelerates towards net zero emissions. At the same time, Africa holds about 30% of the world's critical mineral reserves, including significant shares of cobalt, manganese, platinum, and rare earth elements essential for batteries, electric vehicles, wind turbines, and solar technologies. Yet, despite these endowments, the continent currently captures less than 1% of the value generated from global clean energy technologies. The reason is clear. For too long, we have extracted and exported raw materials at the bottom of the value chain, while others have processed, refined, manufactured, and captured the greater share of economic value. That is precisely why the government of Kenya has undertaken a clear and deliberate position, one I reaffirmed last week at the Africa We Build Summit, that Kenya will no longer be a supplier of raw materials to fuel the industries of others. Working in collaboration with our African colleagues, and this meeting is very pivotal. We will process our minerals here in the continent. We will refine them here. We will manufacture them here. The full length of the value chain must and will generate value for Africa, for African prosperity. Indeed, we are already on this journey. The iron ore pelletization plant in Taita Taveta, currently in final stage of construction, represents an 11 billion investment that will create approximately 3,000 jobs for our people, including the value of iron ore, of iron and steel that will come from that manufacture. Our gold refinery project is also advancing towards completion, while the Voi Gemstone Value Addition Center is already operational, serving artisanal miners and small-scale operators with access to cutting, polishing, grading, and international market linkages. Like many African countries, Kenya is endowed with significant mineral wealth. Our National Airborne Geophysical Survey, the most comprehensive geological mapping exercise in our history, has identified over 970 mineral deposits across the country. These resources are widely distributed across the length and breadth of our country. Gold stretches across the Western Belt, from Narok through Migori and Kakamega into Turkana and Marsabit counties. We have niobium and rare earth elements in Kwale, iron ore in Taita Taveta, and titanium along the coast. Gemstones span the central and coastal regions, while copper, chromite, and manganese are found across the northern, eastern counties, among many others. As a country, we are quite literally sitting on immense wealth. But having minerals in the ground is not in itself an achievement. The true measure of success lies in converting them into tangible prosperity for our citizens. That is the goal we are pursuing. It requires investment, technology, and strong partnerships supported by a conducive fiscal and regulatory environment in which all these elements can come together effectively. As an administration, we are deliberately building those conditions. We enacted the Mining Act, a progressive, transparent, and investor-friendly legal framework that replaced colonial-era 1940 legislation. We have strengthened our institutional and regulatory capacity to deliver faster, more predictable licensing outcomes. We have digitized our licensing system. Through the online mining cadastre, applicants can now apply for mineral rights from anywhere in the world through a process that is transparent, efficient, and accountable. In addition, we have established Nairobi Mining Corporation we have established the National Mining Corporation as the government's investment arm in the mineral sector. In essence, the fundamentals for a viable and competitive mineral sector, one capable of delivering shared value for our people, our economy, and our investors, are firmly in place, and Kenya is ready for investment. However, the progress we seek cannot be achieved by government alone. The scale of investment required to develop processing plants, refineries, smelters, and the necessary supporting infrastructure demands private capital, global technology, and strong international market partnerships. To the investors in this room, Kenya is not asking you to take a leap of faith. We are asking you to look at evidence, examine our geology, assess our legal and regulatory framework, review our institutional architecture, consider our infrastructure connectivity, and our strategic positioning as a gateway to East and Central Africa. Evaluate the viability of projects before you. Then make your decision on the basis of facts, clarity, and opportunity. To the ministers and distinguished guests from the continent present here, I say this: the conversations we have in this room, such as this, matter. The conversations we have in rooms elsewhere also matter. Africa's mineral wealth must become a strategic lever that we learn to deploy collectively, deliberately, and with purpose. I fully support the vision of the African Minerals Strategic Group. I endorse deeper intra-African cooperation in mineral development, processing, and trade. And I strongly support the operationalization of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area in the minerals sector. It is important, and if you look at some of the newspapers that you have today, we had a meeting last week where we were discussing how Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, as states, can invest in a joint refinery that will refine the oil resources that we have in this region. The oil resources we have in Uganda, a bit in Kenya, in South Sudan, and our region. And the industrialist from our West Africa, Mr. Dangote, was here with us, and he was sharing with us the opportunity that is available if we can combine and work together. And we have made the decision that we're going to do this together. We're going to harness the synergies of Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and South Sudan possibly working together so that we can have one big refinery here. And that is the benefit of countries coming together. I welcome the comments by my good friend, the CEO of Nation Group, that they will profile our continent, our region, and for that matter, our country positively. When you read the headline on the East African, it says, Uganda's headache. There was no headache. For heaven's sake, there was no headache. I mean, how does three countries coming together to build one piece of infrastructure that supports the region, how does that amount to a headache? So I really want to persuade us, as you sit here, let us believe in ourselves. Let us believe in our continent. And I always urge people in Kenya, let us believe in our country. Let us profile it positively. Let us work together so that we can harness the full potential of who we are, the resources that we have, and the opportunities that are there for the benefit of everybody. And that would really help us make much more progress. In our region, we are thinking of how all the assets that we have, if it is the oil that we have, we must use it to industrialize our countries. We cannot continue to export or to be exporters of raw materials. And that is the conversation we were having with President Museveni and President Samia Suluhu, that the oil resources we have in this part of the East African region cannot be exported to be refined elsewhere. That is why we want to use our own resources to industrialize. We have a bigger opportunity In mining, we have huge mineral resources in the East and Central African region. We need to combine all these resources, use the huge resources we have of clean energy, geothermal, wind, solar, hydro, in our region, to mine these resources, to process these resources, and use these resources to industrialize our region. This is the focus I hope, and I persuade you to focus as a region. This is how we are going to liberate ourselves as we look at the continent, as we stretch our imagination to 2050. A quarter of the world population will be living in Africa. That is strategic as a market. That is strategic as a workforce. And if you combine that with the resources that we have, the wealth of resources we have, natural resources, we must make a huge success of this continent. And that is why I am a great believer in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area that assists us to have one single market of 1.5 billion people now and 2.5 billion people by 2050. That should be the strategic focus of policymakers like yourselves. As we look at that, we must look at where is the potential. And if we are organize our resources, organize our human capital, and connect our market, we will be the single biggest force going forward, because this is where opportunity will be found. We will not need to work so hard to persuade anybody to invest. They will come because they will see the opportunity is here with us. Platforms such as the Mining Investment Conference EXPO 2026, where African governments and global investors come together to do real business, are precisely the engagements our continent need at a time like this. Kenya is ready to be a partner, not only with investors, but also with our other brother African countries who are navigating similar challenges and pursuing shared opportunities. This is an opportunity to learn from one another and to advance together. And as you work on this conference, I want to encourage all of us to look at what brings us together. We will be having, in 10 days' time or thereabout, we will be having the Africa Forward Summit, where we'll be sitting here in Nairobi with our friends from France and other places to see how we can chart a future for our continent. And it is very important that policymakers are aligned. That is how meetings like this are important for sharing ideas, harmonizing policies, and making sure that we are all moving together. The mineral wealth of Africa, including Kenya, is proven. The opportunity is very clear. The policy framework is in place. The institutional architecture is established. Market conditions are favorable. What remains is partnerships, investment, and the political will to act. And the time to act is now. Let me wish all of you a great day of deliberation. Enjoy the great city of Nairobi. Just behind you here is Nairobi National Park. Just behind here, I think maybe not even a kilometer from here is Nairobi National Park. Make sure you find time to enjoy the Nairobi National Park, but I want to warn you that the animals in the Nairobi National Park are wild. So be careful. Be careful when you are at the park. They are not in the zoo, so they are in the wild. And please pass my regards, Minister, to President Tinubu, my friend, and to the great people of Nigeria who are my in-laws, and do so in good English. And, you know, I was captured, I was speaking to my fellow citizens somewhere, and somebody, it was supposed to be a private conversation, but somebody decided that it should be public. But they also misrepresented the facts. The facts are that I was talking about how we in Africa speak very good English, all of us. In fact, in some countries like Nigeria, if you don't speak excellent English like the one we speak in Kenya, you may need a translator, you know, for you to understand the excellent English of Nigeria. So that was the comparison, but somebody decided to take it out of context. But I think it is as well that we can have this conversation. And my in-laws, I hope there will be no consequences for whatever was done. Otherwise, I wish you productive and very impactful deliberations. Thank you very much, and God bless you.